Good morning. So today is an anniversary, a month-iversary. Today is month 5 since Scott has been gone. And so I'll just give a little update on how I'm doing. And I sometimes I think like, why do people care about how I'm doing? And I think that one of the reasons I want to share how I'm doing in my grief journey is because I actually have never seen someone else go through this depth of grief up close and personal. So what that means is I knew people lost people, but I had no idea what that experience would be like. And so I find that it's shocking. Like I had no idea that it would be this hard. I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea what parts of grief would be normal. And yeah, I kind of wish I had known some of these things so that when they happen, it would feel I wouldn't be quite as blown back. And so I want to share these things with you so that for two reasons. One, so that if you ever go through grief, maybe you can come back here and watch some of these videos and understand, oh, this is expected. This is what grief feels like. And I'm not losing my mind. So that's the first reason. The second is not everyone's going to lose someone and react the same way. And we look at the people around us and we have no idea what they're going through. So this hopefully will give you some idea of what the people around you who are grieving might be going through. For example, right now, like recently I met someone who said they had lost their spouse a year and a half ago. And immediately my heart went out to them because I know what this is like right now. But they also knew how to respond to me because they have been through this. And if someone else has gone through grief, again, I met someone else recently who has not lost a spouse, but has lost someone else very close to them. And when I said, oh yeah, it'll be 5 months this weekend, she said to me, oh, it's still so new. You're still at the early stage. And that felt validating. And so it was like, okay, someone understands. This is new. This is hard. And it still feels really, really fresh. And so I want to give these tips to you, explaining what my journey has been like. Not everyone's journey is the same, but my journey so that when other people that you come across, you find out they're grieving, they've lost a spouse, they've lost a mom, a child, a parent, friend, best friend, even a coworker. If you work with someone 8 hours a day for like years, this you almost spend more time with them than you do your own family sometimes. Grief affects all of us differently. And sometimes we don't lose someone by death. Sometimes we lose someone through a divorce. Sometimes we lose someone because for whatever reason, maybe you're a foster parent and children have been taken out of your home. That's a loss. Like there's grief there. And so we don't give the people around us enough leeway to feel their emotions, to feel sad and understanding of what that's like. So here I am, month 5. I am making my way through the recovery of shingles in my face, otherwise known as Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. And so I'm still having a few minor things going on in my head, my ear, my eye, and my head, but mostly I am experiencing still the exhaustion of the shingles. The other symptoms are definitely making their way away. Every now and then I get some rash bumbles that I'm not sure, these blisters that I'm not sure what they are. But it could still be related to the shingles, not sure. But exhaustion is my main symptom right now. So I have about 2.5, 3, what I would call good days in a week. And by a good day, I mean, I can get up and actually accomplish a few things. I'm able to stay on task. Brain fog and what they call sometimes widow brain or widower brain is still affecting me. So particularly when I do a very emotional task. So this week I was working on Scott's taxes. I was going through some of our like some of the paperwork that still has to get done. We're month 5 and there's still things that have not been done. Still funeral and other bills to pay that, come in over time, and wrapping up this account or that account, or finding a receipt, or all of these things that sort of take time. When I start going through those, it feels heavy and it feels emotional. And so that's like those kind of activities, although it seems like it's easy or light, isn't necessarily. There are some tasks that, and some people and personalities that might find that easier than others. For me, those tasks are hard to begin with, but add to that emotional piece. And of course, it's like every time I make a phone call and I'm waiting on hold for an hour or two about something or another, then they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't answer that question. Could we please speak with your husband? We need to get his authorization." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, he's passed away." "Oh, well, now we need all this information. And I'm so sorry to hear about that." And all of those things like wear on me emotionally, and I get so exhausted. So when you're talking with someone else who's going through grief of any kind, even asking them like, how's it going with the paperwork? Do you need help with it? Do you need someone to sit there and chat with while you're sitting on hold for 45 minutes or an hour and a half figuring this out? Those would be some ways that you can assist with someone. And you know what? You could just say, "Hey, I'm going to come for coffee. If you have calls to make, you can ignore me when they come on the line. But if you want someone to sit there and chat with and maybe have coffee with while you're on hold, I'd be happy to do that." So that's just another way you can assist your friends who are grieving. Another thing is I'm sort of at that stage, we're at the change of seasons, and I find that hard. There's things that I normally get to do, or that Scott did last year, to wrap up get the house ready for fall and winter, cleaning up leaves and getting leaves out of the gutters. Well, that I don't have to do this year because I got new eavesdrop, so I think my leaves are fine. But getting the yard ready, getting the garage ready for winter, all of these things, making sure like I need to get the air conditioner cover on, and I'm too short. So all these things are reminders of an amazing person who's not here anymore. And all these little things that are suddenly big things. And so, I decided to do this video today because I was having a good day and I was not feeling emotional. But so I thought, yay, I'll finally be able to do a video without crying. And I did not manage it. Anyway, so yeah, when you talk to a friend and you ask them like, are there things that you need help with? Like, I have an hour of time. What things could I assist with? It might be cleaning out a closet. It might be putting sealer on a window. Or on a cracker, adjusting a door. It could be anything. It might be making a meal for someone. Although I am doing much better with remembering to eat. It's kind of a thing. My goal is 2 solid meals a day, and I feel like I'm doing really well with that. But there are still days where it's like, oh my goodness, I just have no desire to eat. And that just is very common for people who are grieving. Another thing that I'm experiencing is what I would call sort of a trauma response to others who are possibly going through the same or very similar experiences that I did with Scott. So when, for whatever reason, I feel like brain tumors and brain cancer just keeps coming across my landscape. So whether it's, social media friends or friends in person, or children of friends, or people that I care about, I am surprised how many people in the last 5 months have either been diagnosed with brain cancer, or who've been diagnosed and died of brain cancer, or who've gone through the brain surgery. And I feel like a failure, because what happens is I begin to hear about their journey, and my whole body feels like it goes into that like on alert stage that it was in when Scott was here. When we found out about the brain tumors. Okay, now I had to be on alert. Now he had brain surgery. Now these are the things that I'm looking for. These are the signs I'm watching for. Is his brain swelling? Is he breathing? Is he eating? Is he vomiting? Is he sleeping? Is he sleeping too much? All of these things just come flooding back. And it's like my body has not yet recovered from that on alert state. And so what happens is when I hear about these things, it's like a trigger, and it's like so quick, and my body goes back into that state of stress. That's not okay. That is not where I need to be right now. I need to remind myself this is not their journey, is not my journey. And I actually don't need to carry their journey, but I can love them. I can pray for them. And sometimes the best thing is actually to walk away. And that's where I feel like a failure, because what happens is I can't like get connected and involved like my heart wants to. I'm very much a caregiver, a protector. I'm an advocate. And I just need to step away because it's still really fresh for me. So that's a thing to watch out for if you are going through. And I've talked with some friends recently who are going through something, and they have a friend who has been through this before, and they feel like they should know how hard this is. Why are they avoiding me? If your friends are grieving or they've been through a similar experience, I just want to give your heart the reassurance that your friend probably really cares about you. But it's just too raw for them. And their grief is aggravated. Their trauma responses might be aggravated. Their fears are aggravated. And they are actually not going to be of any use to you right now. And so allow them to love you from a distance until they can do it again. And so that's how I feel. And I'm just asking you, as you go through things and you see your friends going through things, if you can engage to help them, that's great. If you can't, then maybe just a short explanation to say, hey, like, this is really hard for me. I'm not emotionally ready to engage right now, but I'm going to pray from a distance. I'm going to be here. And as soon as I can, I'm going to walk back into our relationship in a way that is hopefully supportive for you. And if you have a friend who's saying that, just give them as much grace and understanding as you possibly can. I wish I would have known this about people who grieved before I did, because I did not give nearly enough grace to the people who were grieving. I just didn't understand. So if I've ever hurt you in the past because I was discompassionate, I was not compassionate, dispassionate is the right word, sorry. If I was completely detached from your situation and did not give you the compassion, the grace, the gentleness that you needed when you were grieving, I want to say I'm sorry. I didn't know. Now I know, and I really hope that in the future I will be able to treat you better, love you better in that situation. The other thing is, when it comes to this stage of grieving, I'm at 5 months today. On one hand, it feels like yesterday. Some of the memories are still as fresh as the day it happened. And on the other hand, it feels really, really long. So I'm getting to that in-between place where I feel like, am I still allowed to cry? Yes, I am. Do I miss him more than ever? And it's that there's another piece that's starting, and it's like, am I going to forget him? Am I ever going to forget what his voice sounds like? Am I going to forget what he looked like? The other day I was sitting at the kitchen table, and someone who lives with me opened the bedroom door, and immediately my heart just like was, whoo, Scott's coming out of the room. Well, first of all, it was the wrong room, wrong door. And of course, it was not Scott. And, you know, but my thought was like, oh, soon that trigger is going to stop like that. Like the door sounding is going to go, oh, that's this other person coming down the hall. It's not Scott. And the thought of losing that, that like instinct, oh, here comes Scott feeling is actually sad. To feel like that won't be my first response anymore. But that is actually, I need to look at that as a sign of healing. When those triggers are there, but that I can sit down and remember them, but that it's not necessarily my first response. I'm not there yet, and it takes time. So I'm at a stage of grieving that is very much up and down, and which is to be expected. So this is very, I would say, healthy and normal. But yeah, so there's this, I'm at this stage where it feels like it was yesterday, and yet it feels like it's been forever. And then also feels like, oh, I don't want to forget. I don't want to lose the memories. I don't want to forget the sound of his voice, or what it felt like when he held my hand while we drove. And it's really hard this is now my second new season. So we went through summer together. I mean, without him, like so summer came without him, and now fall is coming without him. So we're heading into Thanksgiving this weekend, and it'll be my, it's a first Thanksgiving without him. Last Thanksgiving, Monday, we went on a ride, and we had a fantastic time. It was like a beautiful, beautiful day. So sunshiny, although it was super windy. So it was a bit of a rough ride. And Scott was not feeling well that day. So we got on the Spider and we headed out. We were going to do a tour around the Sandy Lands and then up back around Richer and back up to the number one. We did cut it a bit short because when we got to the Sandy Lands, he was feeling really dizzy and decided he didn't want to drive. So he didn't feel comfortable in the driver's seat. So he went behind me, and I took over the Spider and we drove. And so I asked him, did you want to continue on this ride, or should we stop? Or should I just take us home? And he's like, no, I want to do the ride. I just think it's better if you drive. So we did. We finished the ride. I wish I would have known then that the reason he wasn't feeling well was because he had brain tumors. I just had no idea. He had no idea. But we did. We completed our ride. We had a really, really good day together. And when we got home, we both just said, like, no, that was nice. It was like, it just felt like a good wrap up of our riding season. So it was our last ride together. We had no idea that it was going to be our last ride together. We thought it was our last ride of the season. But I'm so glad we did it. And as I was thinking about that today, he started in the driver's seat. Then he asked me to switch places and become the driver in the driver's seat. And I did. Today I was realizing, like, it was really kind of a handoff. I had no idea at the time, and I'm not sure he knew at the time, but it was very much a picture of sort of what happened. He put me in the driver's seat, and more over the next few months, he put me in charge of different things, different parts, different decisions that he had to make. Selling his house, making decisions on accounts, making decisions about how we would manage things as his abilities decreased, and I had to take over more. And so that was a really interesting picture for me, that, we did it. We made this switch. And now here I am riding the Spider alone. And it's okay, because Scott did that handover so well. And so oh wow, I'm crying way more than I expected. So yeah, today on month 5, I am riding alone, and just really glad that we did the handoff like we did. I miss him, and I plan to ride on Monday, which is our last ride anniversary. I hope I have found a few ladies that ride spiders to join me. We'll see how that goes. But I'm gonna ride. Even if it's alone, I'm gonna ride to remember. And then this Thanksgiving, I'm hoping that we'll be able to remember him as a family. And then in a week, it will be his birthday. So another stepping stone. Last year, I did a big birthday party for him, for a bunch of people that we could, so really kind of short notice, but we had a lot of people over for his birthday. And it was really good. And I had just felt like really compelled. We need to do this birthday party. We really need to do a birthday party. And at one point I had joked and I said to him, we need to do a birthday party for you when you're 59 in case you don't make it to 60, because 60 is old. And I'm not sure old people have birthday parties. And we just joked about it. But I have never been so glad that I did that birthday party for him last year. Because although 60 is not old, I was joking wrong. He isn't here. He is going to have his 60th birthday party in heaven where there is no time, and he is happy and healthy and well. So anyway, there's the grieving. There's some anniversary things that I'm going to be facing in the next little bit. And I just want to encourage you, if you know someone who's grieving or who is in that anticipatory grief stage where someone is in a situation where they may be terminal, I want you to feel free to reach out and ask, how can you care for them in their grief? Because it's a big deal. It affects every single aspect of their life. So my goal in this is not to get pity for me, but to give you tools on how to love the people around you, and also what to expect, because all of us are going to face grief. It may not hit you soon. It may not come visit you anytime in the next little while, but grief happens to all of us because we live in a broken and fallen world, and it's going to be here. So yeah, until we get to heaven, let's learn how to be gracious and kind and compassionate to the people around us who are grieving. All right. I love you all.